Okay, hey everybody, back with another one today. I decided to do, thanks to my good buddy Roy, um, I decided to do Groot today because he posted a piece for it earlier, and I just got inspired, and I was like, what am I going to draw? Well, here we go. That's pretty much what we're looking at. Hey Ozzy, thanks for stopping by, man. Uh, gonna refresh the page here real quick and go on and post so everybody has that going on. Give me just a second, and then I'll stop umming. There we go. All right. What did I do with my pencil here? Lost it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to make this one really quick because of the fact that this little guy isn't going to take very long. I've drawn him probably, I don't know, something like 50 times now. So I draw him all the time for the kids because he's popular. But no, this is one of those things that I just wanted to kick out something really light today because I was working on that big Boba Fett session earlier. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. I hope you did. It's in my timeline and it's on the page. If you want to check it out, that's cool. If not, if you're busy with something else, I understand. But yeah, this is going to be very simple and clean because I like to do this in an animated style. And I like to keep it very simple and very light because people can go overkill with Groot very easily. And it just doesn't have the same, what am I looking for? The same effect, the same look and the same presence if you do it too heavily. This is not a character to take photorealistic unless you're going to do the full older version of Groot. I don't agree with taking him too far. Baby Groot just loses all the detail and all the cute edge if you go too thick with it. So, but I'm going to draw in some lines here and kind of give him the craft look, but I'm not going to go too far with it because, like I said, I just don't want to choke this out. And he doesn't have the big gradations that the full-grown Groot has. And I've seen a lot of people draw him, to where they'll try to make it literally Groot with a baby face. And, kudos to him for doing it. But I just don't agree with that because of the fact that when you do it that way, it'll tend to have a demonic look because it's over detailed. And you got to put in enough to get the job done, of course. But, but it may just be because of the fact that I don't resonate with that style. But, like I said, no knocking or anything like that. So don't be picking on anybody and their style of work. I don't do that. But I do have fun keeping this open and lively. But yeah, that piece earlier was a blast. I'm really having fun doing that one. It was a 11x17 Boba Fett, just in case you didn't know. And I was drawing that for my buddy Kevin to go with his Electra. But as far as this card goes, this is officially number 175 today. 175 cards, 173 days, live every single day. So we have 175 cards now, which I promised that I was going to set the Kickstarter and the book out. I am going to be releasing the sketch card book as soon as this card is done. I'm going to be putting the book together, and this will be the last one added to the template for volume 1 of that series of books that's going to be coming out with those properties in place for the daily sketch cards. So you guys will be able to get a copy of that and go from there if you're interested. I mean, you may not be. It may be one of those things where you're like, your cards don't look so good, man. And if you see it that way, that's fine too. It's all good. It's all good. But for the most part, I just wanted to say thank you for you guys doing this and showing up every day, because that's the reason I do it. So many comics don't make it, and so many artists don't make it because of the fact that they don't have the consistency and professionalism to get out there and do this stuff. And whenever they put their stuff out on the line, they make a comic book, and then when it doesn't sell because they're unknown, people freak out. And it's like, you didn't buy my book. You said you were going to buy it. The world's mean. And they go running away crying. And for anybody that's aspiring out there to do this, and I know you guys follow me as part of that because of what I do, but I'm going to tell you hands down, if you're aspiring to be a comic book artist, put it out there for yourself. Don't put it out there for anybody else first, because the first thing you're going to do is you're going to hit a brick wall, and you're going to be in tears, crying in the corner, calling up all your friends and family. Why didn't you buy my book? Well, we supported you, but comics aren't really our thing. That's the most common response. Comics aren't my thing. Well, you got to let people know the book's there, for one. 2, you got to let people know that the book's there and it's ready. 3, you got to put out more books. Because if you don't put out more books, then they think it's a one-shot, and then they go, well, he said he was going to be a comic artist, and he said he's going to put these books out. And then when you don't, no matter what happens, you have to produce. Production is the power of comics. Because if you're not there, you're gone. And that's the way it is. Plain and simple. And they will let you know it. Fans will let you know it, because they let me know it when I got slow production because of the fact of Catman Evolution losing my colorist and my letterist right off the bat. And I went through 4 artists before I did that, because I wasn't ready for the book. I wanted to do another project that I had coming up down the line as a pilot book, and I kicked out Catman Evolution so that I could get that book going, because I wanted it to be the first one, but I didn't feel my style was ready for it. And I was producing a couple of contract things at the time, and I just didn't have the power and ability to do all those books at once. And that was the reason why I had Rod and Marvin come in. Now they're gone, and I'm doing the book on hand to run with alongside Lone Rider and a couple of other things that I've got going on. And I've got 7 projects coming out, man. I mean, we're busting just page after page after page. If you're going to do this, and you're going to do this comic thing, it's like being an actor or, any other kind of entertainer. The only thing that people remember is your last piece of work. And if you're not doing everything at the best of your ability, you're going to get eaten alive in this industry. It will make a grown man fall down and cry and say, I don't want to live anymore because nobody likes my comics. I've seen it. I've been burned. I've been misrepresented. I've been lied on. I've had stuff stolen. I've seen everything, every under the sun excuse that you can think of not to do a comic book and not throw yourself out there in that commitment. I've seen it. Been there, done that. I've had major New York Times bestsellers that I've had as clients, rip me off 10 ways from Sunday. They used my services and then tried to recant money out of me to screw me over. I've had people that I've brought up and trained burn me left and right. It happens. But you got to get out there. I've had people run off with my money all the time. It happens all the time. But, if you don't get out there and make the comic book, you're never going to be seen. And if you wait for the perfect book, if you wait for perfectionism over production, you'll never do anything. And that's the catch-22 right there. If you wait for holding it to the chest so tight, oh, I got this secret, I can't do it, this great book is mine, and I can't do it. If you don't put it out there, nobody's going to ever know it was there. You can't wait for it to be perfect. You have to wait. Perfect for an artist comes in production. Perfectionism is a fear of holding back. You want true perfectionism, you got to get out there and produce. And I do this every day, and I appreciate you guys being here because I know what that means to get your time and attention for that. And, if you're producing a book, Get off your butt and get it out there to your fans. If you're producing paintings or commissions or artwork or whatever, get it out there. Get it out there. Get it out there. Get it out there. Constantly. Get it out there. Constantly and consistently. Produce. Produce. That's the key thing right there. I mean, you guys saw me on earlier doing this this whole Boba Fett thing. And I've got a client commission that I'm going to get out tonight to get over for a character pack for a young man that's been waiting for it for a while. And because of the fact that I had to put it back burner, he's like, oh, don't hurry about it. Don't hurry about it. And then he was like the other day, he was like, you remember me? I was like, oh, man, it's been like 3 weeks since it got, come on. That's a shame, you know. And I'm very disappointed that I did that. But as a responsible businessman and an artist, I have to understand, you know, I had to take responsibility for it, and I did it, and I apologized, and got back on track. You know, if you drop the ball, pick it up and run with it again. Just run a little faster to catch up. And I do that kind of thing all the time with clients, not drop the ball, but I do that kind of thing with clients to where I'm constantly telling them, you know, if you're, you know, my students are all about that. If you drop the ball, tell them, apologize, hold up, and say, I'm sorry, I'll correct it, I'll make it right. And then let's do it. And, you know, finish whatever you're doing. Make the pages, make the run, make the book, make the whatever, you know, make the script. If you're in marketing, make the results, make the results, make the results. And I see people all the time that come up and say, you draw so fast, man. How do you do so many pages in a day? Because I average 3 pages a day. And I've been up since 5 a.m. this morning, and I knocked out 3 pages before I even touched the Boba Fett outline. And I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but it was 11 o'clock when I laid out Boba Fett. So 5 hours, 3 pages, and, you know, they were already laid out. I just went in and did the penciling like I did for you guys over the layout. But I lay out the entire book ahead of time, so that's why I got that jump. I produce. I take a script, I produce the book from page 1 to page end, and go for it. And then I've got 2 or 3 of those things stacked up on my desk all the time right over here. I've got them on a side table over here where I keep them stored in a drawer, and I pull them out as they come up. That way they don't get oxidized and turn nasty or anything like that, or, you know, nothing gets funky with them. Because I don't know how many times my daughter has a cat, and I don't know how many times that cat's jumped up because that table's high. He likes to jump up on that thing, and I don't know how many times stuff would have been just, you know, a horrible mess if I'd have left my pages out like that. Would I ever do that with my supplies? No, because I know crap can happen. And Murphy's Law says, you know, if it can happen, it will. Well, guess what? I'm not Murphy, and I'm not using his law. I'm using my rules. So, and you need to too. But number 175 today, and I've been doing this for just shy of 6 months, you guys. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I got a whole list of cards, and I'm going to still keep going every day. But you guys are also going to get a lot more work out of me, because I got my webcomic ready to go as well. I've colored on most of it. I've got it done. I can't show you guys till it's done because it'll give away the story because the pages are finished. But I will have to go in and finish that up and start releasing that. And with this book coming up, the sketchbook and the Kickstarter, where you guys will be able to get a copy of the sketchbook, as well as these cards that are coming up as awards on my Kickstarter. I do not want you to miss out on any opportunity to get that. So I hope you dig what I do. I appreciate it. And I just want to give you guys a shout out and a big thank you for that, because I know exactly what you're putting in. You're putting in your time, you know? It's not just the kind words. You're putting in your time. You're spending your time with me, and that is a powerful resource that you cannot reclaim. And I know what that means. So I appreciate it. But anyway, if you got something that you want to put out, a comic book, something like that, whatever it is, put it out. Novel, write it. You don't have to wait to be famous to put something out. You just have to do it, you know? That's the thing. If you're a writer, write. If you're an artist, draw. If you're both and you're a comic creator, create comics. Because if you're not listing it every single day, busting your chops, getting out there, fixing it, and producing it, and knocking it out, you're not doing it justice, and you're not doing yourself. That's a day wasted. You know what I mean? And the reason I say this is because of the fact that I just had someone, ask me about my shooting and how I go about doing this every day, and what my setup is, and what my concerns are, and what this is and that is. And I'm like, dude, I don't care what you do. I don't care. I care that you do it, and I care that you do what you love to do. But I don't care that if you start doing a car today, I don't care if you do it. People are going to watch both of them anyway. They watch all of us anyhow. And the only difference between you and me is the way that I do it, my perspective, my vantage point, my point of interest, my personality. And hopefully my artwork, if you like it, it's whatever relates most. But people in our group, in our community, in our industry tend to lean for all of that anyway, and they follow all of it. Okay, so don't freak out. And it's like, that's like saying, well, you watch Jim Lee because he's such a great artist, but then you feel bad because you don't want to be in the comic industry because he's better than you are in your mind. And the thing is, Jim's just another artist, just like everybody else, paying his bills. So don't let that tear you down. Just because you're not as good as he is in your own mind, he's not as good as you are because of the fact that he's not you. And I guarantee you, Jim thinks the same way. The dude's very humble. The guy is very humble and very down to earth. And, he does what he does. He gets in there, he's confident to do what he does because he's done it so long. And that's the key thing. If you want confidence to do comic books, get in there and draw comics. Well, how do I begin? How do I start making comics? How do I become a comic artist? Well, do you have paper? Yep. Do I have a pencil? Yep. Do you have a story? Yep. And guess what? Start drawing. That's it. How do I start? Well, you start. You draw. That's it. That's really it. I tell people that all the time. All the time. I'm constantly telling students that. They're like, well, I don't have the credentials, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. Well, how do you get them? Well, I'd have to do something to get them. What do I do? Well, guess what? You start. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. It's the ultimate answer to everything. How do I get that? How do I get that case study? How do I get that fame? How do I get that fortune? How do I get that comic book? How do I get that script? You get out there and you do it. Plain and simple. Production. It's a very simple word. Because if you're waiting to be perfect, you're gonna be at the rocking chair going, man, I just hate that I regret that. When somebody asks you how you start, you tell them flat out, you do it. Well, where do I start? I can't get paid for it. Well, you're not going to get paid for it until you've done it and prove you can do it. I mean, that's just like any job. You don't get a paycheck from the job until you've done the work and invested the 40 hours, right? Well, think about it in the same regard. People are like, well, I'm not doing a comic book for free. That cracks me up to no end. You don't do a comic book for free, no matter even if it's free. You're doing it because you're investing in yourself for the experience. Do you understand that? I hope that resonates with somebody. I really, really do. I hope that resonates with somebody. Production is an artistic perfectionism. By what you produce is what you perfect because you've done it. And every time you do it again and again and again, you get better at it. And this is a craft. It takes time. And the only thing that takes more of than time is it takes the investment of the energy to put it in and make it better and even more so. And so many people get bent about that. I had a guy today tell me, well, why would you tell anybody how you shoot your videos and stuff, man? You're going to give up aren't you worried about giving up your following and stuff and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? And I was like, no. And I was like, you got that magic jar of sauce held up to your chest so much, that secret spaghetti sauce you got holding in that jar, you're squishing it to your chest so much, nobody's going to want it anyway because you're going to crack that thing from the tension. And it's going to be all down your shirt. Then you're not going to have the secret sauce either. So, you know, let it go. Do your thing, man. Help the community. Share your experience. Share your intelligence. Build it. And do it. If you think you want to be a comic artist, if your art sucks right now, do it and get better. Study, learn, draw, write, whatever it is. Just do it. I hear that crap all the time, and it just, cracks me up to no end. Just, it really does, because it's so simple. Because everybody's like, well, I don't have the fame to be a Marvel comic artist. Well, how do you know? Have you drawn a Marvel comic? Get one of the old scripts from the script archive and throw down. They're closing down in 2018 anyway, so it doesn't matter. Do you have what it takes to draw a DC comic book? Can you draw Superman? Can you draw Superman to look like Superman? Can you draw Superman to, more importantly, act like Superman? Can you draw Batman to act like Batman? Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I like them to look like this. Well, don't make your incarnation of the character, okay? That's the downfall. If you're in comics, make your incarnation of how you show that Batman looks like Batman and acts like Batman, that he sounds like Batman and he reads like Batman in the comics. And I know you can't hear the audible of the language, but you can read the body language and you can read the scripts to see the tonality in the way he speaks. Does that make sense? I hear all the time, well, I've done submissions and those editors are idiots and they won't talk to me and blah, blah, blah. That's okay. If it's not meant to work out, it's not meant to work out. You move on and you do another book. Well, I don't want to give up my characters. Well, don't give up your characters. Trademark them and copyright them and put them out there as comics. Well, I want Marvel to publish my stuff. Well, that's not going to happen. They don't do creator-owned properties. And that's a pipe dream if you think you're going to be the first one. The industry standard clearly states that. And if you think you're going to do it, you're wasting your time. I promise you. I mean, I'm not one to tell people they can't do something, but when it's blatantly obvious, you're wasting your time, okay? Don't do that to yourself. Invest where it's profitable. Image Comics is the way to go for that. Let's see, Avatar Comics. So many other publishers, so many other small publishers do this with no problem. And with this day and age, why wouldn't you self-publish and keep all the money? I mean, that's just ridiculous. So, but whatever. To each their own. So, the point is, find your path. And I'm not meaning to be preachy here. I'm telling you flat out, because that young man that asked me that was horrified. And I don't ever want anybody that I know to be that scared of producing something and making their own mark. That's ludicrous that someone is that mortified of so much fear of success and failure. So, with this done, I'm going to leave it here and go from there. The reason I'm laughing is because Phil has he put "you caved" because we were talking about it before I went live about which one to do, and I put it as a Shakespearean quote. I said Groot or to Baby Groot. That is the question. And yeah, I did. I caved. So I did. I caved. If you guys have noticed this, I've been asked about it a couple times. I wanted to tell you real quick. This right here, it has a nice blister bug bite thing underneath it, where these new little beetles have come out of nowhere. Apparently, they're a different breed of beetle than we normally have around here, and the little suckers bite. And I got out of my truck yesterday, and one of them bit me on the arm, and I had a blister this morning, and I had to cover it to keep it from popping and getting nasty and whatnot. But I've been getting asked about it. I got asked about it during the Boba Fett thing, so I thought that I would say, that's what's going on. A critter attack. So they're these six-legged beetles, and they have they're brownish red. They have these brownish red stripes on them. They're primarily black or dark brown, but they have these reddish stripes on them. And like I said, that thing pinched me, and that was it. So there you go, an answer to that. But anyway, as far as this goes, get out there and do your stuff, man. Hold up your guns, and if anybody comes running at you, take them out, if that's the way they got to be about it. But don't ever let anybody tell you that you're a failure and that you're not going to be able to do it, because that's just untrue. And come talk to me if you feel that way, and I'll help you. No problem. I'd be glad to do it. So talk to you guys soon. Again, take care. Everybody, thank you so much for this. I'm going to put volume 1. This is going to be the number 175 that is going to round out volume 1 of the Brad Linder Creating Comics sketchbook. So we're going to start the Kickstarter off now that we have them, and I'm going to start inking these up and coloring them and posting them, and you guys will be able to get them as awards for participating in the Kickstarter campaign, and it's going to help offset funding for the production of the book so that I can keep this stuff going in the comics side of my business. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time this evening, and I'll show more of the Boba Fett later. You guys are awesome. I'll see you tomorrow.